I
And
agree.
so my thing is
That's
that you
my
shouldn't have to incentivize people to do the thing that's best for them. That should be something that like that has nothing to do with the education system. That should have something to do with your upbringing.
what that but that's what I'm but so you yeah, C plus plus, yeah, Azure, AWS. Yeah, I've hired for all of those, right? When I had that company, I hired for all of that. But um what I'm saying is I agree, Anton, especially when you get to that level, but you get to it before that, right? All of those things, like my dad was an engineer. So, well, my granddad, sorry, my granddad was an
Hmm.
engineer.
Hmm.
So he did that his entire life, though. Like he was in
But
schools
is your
that
okay? So let me ask you a question. Is your granddad from the United States of America though?
he's first generation.
So
My
that's no.
grandfather's Polish.
Right. So that's a no.
Yeah, he's first generation. Mhm.
Okay. So that proves my point then. Is that American culture don't have the same cultural norms that would then lead to
That's
recruiting
why I
the
said
best
I
talent.
agree with
So
you, but I'm saying that I'm saying the educational system in America does not push forth the type of culture to actually set children up to actually go into these fields.
It
Like I
depends on
don't
what
get
part of America you are in. That is not true, is what I'm saying.
it should be the norm entirely and well it should be the
no,
norm
no, no.
period
It can't be
because
the norm. It can't be the
no,
norm.
it should be no. Okay,
No,
so
it
if you
can't.
have certain studies, Slim, if
It
you have
can't.
certain studies, like why are we learning? Okay, there's certain things in school
Mika,
that you're not
Mika,
going to learn outside outside of well that you're not going to need outside of school, right?
Mika,
So they don't learn civics, they don't learn finances. Like there are certain things that you're going to need that are going to
Mika.
take you when you're an adult. That's what I'm saying. It's
No,
not
Mika,
set
Mika.
up for them to actually flourish
No, but Mika, you got to realize
and go into a functioning society.
school is not intended for you to
No,
flourish.
American, because outside
Well,
of
that's what I'm talking
America,
about.
every other nation, especially if they can afford it, does. They focus on what you would the path that you would be going on. I just name like I just named Cuba, but let's focus on other Norwegian countries, right? You can do Sweden, you can do Poland, right? All these countries they set it up from the beginning, and this is public school. We're not even talking about
There
private and
is
schools that you got money for.
there is no shortage of insight information and the type of classes that you can attend. Even in the schools that are in the hood, they still have AP classes. They still have certain classes that separate the kids that don't want to do what they're supposed to do from the kids that do want to do what they're supposed to do. And so again, I don't think it has anything to do with the education system itself. I think it has everything to do with what happens in our neighborhoods, what happens at home.
Okay, where I
I just
live,
don't
it's
think that
only two
they
high
have the same.
schools. It's only two high schools where I live
Mhm,
because it's small.
mhm.
So the two high schools, they're very good. But let's say they weren't, right?
Probably how that works.
And then they don't allow you to do this is a democratic state. They don't allow you to do school choice. So your zip code is where you're stuck at.
Mhm.
How are you going to go to the school that actually does have those vocational things when you're stuck going to the school in your zip code?
I'm still not understanding how that ties back to Elon Musk and
Because you
Vivek
have
Raman.
to start these children from you once look 0 to 7 are the most important years. At literally at 7 you can by the time a child is 7 you can be in, teach tons of languages, tons of different type of arithmetics and
Mika, Mika,
mathematics
Mika,
and sciences,
Mika.
and you
Let's
can
be
set
real.
them on a
Let's be real.
huh.
Let's be real. Most
Yeah, I was in
adults,
those classes.
hold on, Mika. But let's be real. Most adults can't read past a third grade level.
That's the problem, that's what
That
I'm
is not
saying.
the education system. That is your dumbass choice. That is not an educational problem. Niggas
Yeah,
be bringing guns into school. They be skipping school. They be doing what the fuck they want to do when they want to do it. People do what they want to do. It is no excuse, zero, zilch, nada, for anybody to be reading at a third grade level. We can't even get these niggas to type regular inside of the chat. No, 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 no. I mean, come on, let's be real. Let's. If we just gonna keep it 100, let's keep it real. At some point, we gotta stop blaming everybody else, and it is
Oh,
our
I'm
fault.
not.
The
I
fact that
I
a motherfucker
agree,
can't
Anton,
read
that there
past
are
the third
people that
grade
are
level.
lazy, but I'm talking about it
That don't
from
have nothing to do with the education
I'm talking
system.
about
That is
just the
a
educational
personal
system to
issue.
set you. No, I agree. Like we talk about it all the time. I agree about personal accountability, but we were talking about culturally and everything. The government is also involved in that culture.
All right. Well, we could
Like you
just gonna
can't
agree to disagree on this one.
the
well,
government is involved in that culture because when you look at other countries that have the educate okay, look at China. Look at China. Their children are not doing the same thing American children are doing
Yeah,
at
but
5.
you can't have
The
social
government is
media in
involved in
China.
that culture. The
No, no, no,
parents
no,
are
no, no, no.
involved and the
that's a
You
government.
communist.
can't you can't
You
have
can't use them
social
as an
media.
example. That's a
You don't have
communist country.
hold on, wait. Correct. You don't
That's
have freedom of
communism.
choice.
Yeah, you
It's
don't have a
My
different.
choice.
family's from Cuba. I'm very aware.
So
Yeah,
you
but you
so
can't use them
so
as an
you
example.
can either you can't have it both ways.
Okay.
Either you
Yeah.
gonna have them force you to do certain things a certain way and get punished if you don't, or you can have the freedom of choice and then remove the responsibility from the government of you being able to educate your children and give them the right cultural norms that allow for them to read past the third grade level. Because over in China, they in school 16 hours a day.
But what I'm
They
saying
don't
is
they don't
it's
hold on.
enforced
They
2
don't
ways.
take breaks in the summertime in China. They go to school all year round. All year round. And so if we want to have this conversation, these motherfuckers over here will riot if they can't have summers off. What
But
I'm
that but
saying
that
is when you
but
give
that's
people a
culturally. That's
choice,
culture.
when you give people a choice, you then remove their ability to choose for themselves, which they then can't blame the federal government. The fact that we can choose for ourselves here in the United States of America, you can't keep blaming the government. At some point, you got to take responsibility for yourself.
No, I agree. Anton, I agree. I've never taken away personal responsibility. What I'm saying is it's not the only thing. Meaning if your child is going to go to a school, right? The school system, just the regular public system in America, is
Mhm.
not set up to have kids go from kindergarten to actually being engineers and things that you actually
I
need.
believe that it
So
is.
why are they able to pick from the other countries? You know why? Because those other countries do exactly that.
Okay, but let's
We
get
can
back to
do
the.
that in
I don't want to
America
get
if
too
we just
derailed.
do it. That's
I,
all I'm saying. I'm
I
not
don't
taking
believe that we
away from
can.
their personal responsibility.
The
I
only
come
way we
from a
can do it in
family that is
America,
personal responsibility.
only way we can do it in America is if you force people to do it. And when you force people to do something that they don't want to do, they riot. Because the one thing you're not going to take away from Americans is freedom of choice. They're going to complain about the fact that they can't get the job, but every country that you're talking about in comparison is forcing their population to do something. They're not incentivizing them, they're forcing them to do it. You don't have a choice.
Yeah, you can't really
They
use them.
pick
Well,
for
no,
you.
if you look at no,
There
if you
are
look at
countries
Poland,
that pick
Poland is not
for
that
you.
way, and
There are
Poland's
countries
not
that
that
pick
way.
for you what you are going to do for a living when you are a child.
No, Poland's not that way. Okay, China may be that way, but Poland's not that way. And Poland is set up to where if you don't, if you literally don't succeed, it is you because everything is set up for you to win. Just like when you set up, your child, right? When you set up your child, if they don't, and you have everything laid out, everything, they don't have a care in the world. You have the school, and you have the this, the that, and the third. It's set up for you to win. If you don't take advantage of what's there, then it's on you. But what I'm saying is, in this country, in this country, that like I looked at, they have new math. I'm a person that did mathematics in my degree. This math that they're doing, I don't even know what that is.
Listen, we gonna just agree to disagree on that. We just gonna agree to disagree.
Cause it's not no, people are saying like blaming the government is not blaming the government. What I'm saying is it's the entire
Why
culture.
y'all paying
And if
attention to
Vivek
the
is
chat?
saying, oh, it starts from when you're young, yeah, that's because he knows his family's from a country where they start from when they're young.
Well, the main thing is like the American school system is set up to really indoctrinate you more than educate you than anything.
So if that's the case, then why not change it to where it's setting the children up to actually go into these types of
No, they're
fields?
not.
That's
They're
all I'm
not.
asking.
Okay,
You
so
have a
Mika,
freedom of
hold on,
choice.
wait, Mika. So you got Bone Quisha over here, and she gonna go up there and beat the teacher up if they tell their kid to do anything other than exactly what they gonna do. All right, let's be real. Like let's give a real example. Got Bone Quisha over there, and she already look at the, the system as an overglorified babysitter. And if her kid come home and tell him that the teacher yelled at him, she gonna go up there and she gonna check the teacher because you can't tell me nothing, right? No. And if they discipline your kid too much, then they gonna sue the school. No,
But
like
isn't that
what
all
exactly what
government? Isn't
exactly
that all
changes?
government though?
What exactly changes do y'all think that we need to be implementing?
No,
All I'm saying is the curriculum needs to change.
they're
That's
never
really
gonna.
all I'm saying.
There's never gonna be
The
a curriculum
curriculum?
change. There's never gonna
Yeah,
be
when I
anything.
okay, so when I went to
These
school,
kids are base head.
I went to public schools and I was in AP classes.
Their
I did
parents,
from
their
6 to
parents.
9
You are
after
from a
school. I was in
Polish
advanced classes.
household. Their parents are out here grandmama is dating at the same age, is dating the same man as the baby. Mama and the daughter is going to the same club together after they get out of school. They might even be fucking the same dude.
I can't with you.
I'm just saying, man. Like, listen, before we start talking, in my opinion, before we start talking
I'm
about the
not
school and
disagreeing
the
with you. I'm just
education
saying I
system,
don't like the
we got
curriculum.
we got to talk about
I don't like the curriculum.
curriculum. We just seen Jay-Z's accuser with paint on her hands, and she on a spectrum. Room 9 kids is mixed in with the regular kids now. Honest to God, I know it's
That's
funny.
governmental policies.
No, you're correct. I agree.
No,
Room
Tara,
9
don't do
kids
this.
is mixed in with the regular kids, and they gonna sit here and tell me that I'm shaming if I call out the Room 9 kids.
But that's government. No, you're right. But that's governmental policies, and that's all I was
What
saying.
is the government made of Mika? Who gets these people
Room
in
nine
office at
people.
the
Room
no,
nine people. Yes,
the
those
people
people
that
are
get
room
these
nine.
people in office are the very ones responsible for the
AOC
curriculums that
is
they
room nine. You're not gonna tell
the
me she's not room
very
nine.
people that get these people in office. We keep saying government, government, government. The government is a reflection of the people that voted them in. So
No, Mika
so
was not
I
taking room
seen
nine
I
classes because
seen a
Mika has a master's
91%
in
voter
accounting.
turnout rate for Kamala Harris in his same administration. I seen a 91% black woman voter turnout rate for this very same administration.
Yeah,
The government
but
is a reflection
yeah,
of the people that voted for him. I seen people get
yeah.
out Lori Lightfoot and put in Brandon Johnson. They're running these schools into the ground from the people that's voting them in. So we can't say that we want something different when we have the opportunity to do so that's not reflected in our voting patterns. And I got
Well,
motherfuckers
yeah,
that'll say, hold on, I got motherfuckers that'll sit here and telling me that voting don't even matters on a local level when you get to pick your supervisors, your school supervisors, your trustees. You get to pick the people that oversee the ones that hire the people that then oversee the schools. You get to pick the regents for the colleges. You get to do the millages for the community colleges. You get to do everything. So we have more control over what is going on, and we choose on a regular basis to not participate. Motherfuckers don't even know they principals or the teachers' names.
Correct. But and this is what I'm saying, right? So okay, you're absolutely correct. But then even though ignorance is no excuse for the law, most of them don't even know who they don't know the superintendents. They don't know the county executive. Like they don't know any of these things. And so when they're voting, again, they're voting based on party, but they don't understand that just because that is the party that you vote for, they may not have your actual interest. So again, they don't know what they're actually doing, but it's no
That is a
excuse.
choice. That's a
Yeah,
choice.
it is a choice. But that's the thing. That's the thing, Anton. Again, when you vote for people that make those types of policies, everybody suffers because we talk all the time about all those people that I told you that moved from PG County down to my county and came down here during 2024 and voted the same exact way. And right after that, my taxes went up, right?
So
And
you
they're
saying
running from high taxes. So they're not
hold
even
on.
paying
So
attention
let
to
me back
that.
up. Let me back up. So are you saying that they shouldn't allow for H1B or H1B visas to allow the best and the brightest outside of the country to
They
be hired
should.
in?
They should, but it should be regulated because
It is regulated. It's
just from my
already regulated.
experience. No, it's really not.
Yes, it is. It's a cap every year of how many people they can actually
Yeah,
give
but
visas.
what I'm saying is they allow what I'm saying is they are allowing them to use it as a loophole though, because a lot of these companies do take advantage of it. I know because my company got paid based off a lot of those people.
I know that there's a cap every year in how many people that they can
Yeah,
hire in their
governmental
program.
wise, but what I'm saying is when you get into the corporations, right?
No, they can only
So
have so many per year,
and the
and you got to apply for
sponsorships.
those. Correct. You got to spot. You got to apply for those.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's regulation.
Okay. What I'm saying is when you get down to the actual work level where they're working for these companies,
Hmm.
they're they're using those people to keep from paying regular Americans. I came across regular Americans that had most of these tech qualifications all the time.
Mm, I don't know anything about that, so you know that might be over my head. So
Yeah, the problem I think with the whole situation is like we wanna end
you all
you
right
know
over there, Quentin?
Listening to Mika is exhausting.
Why is it exhausting? She making some good points.
Thank you.
You don't think she making some good points?
Yeah, but you conceded like 30 minutes ago. You said I agree to disagree like 30 minutes ago.
That's not conceding. That just means that we got two different perspectives that we don't agree
Well,
on.
I'm just saying the conversation was over 30 minutes ago.
hmm?
Just like once you agree to disagree, I just think the conversation should stop.
Go ahead. What was you about to say, Slimmy?
I think the problem with the whole thing is like um we're at a state where immigration is kind of the illegal immigration is through the roof. So we got all these migrants here and it's an issue. And then we got this whole void of jobs that most that you're saying a lot of Americans aren't qualified for that we have to hire out of the country to get
Correct.
filled. So
Correct.
that's the issue. So it's like a catch 22. So you don't want to have to bring in more people when you already got an illegal immigration problem.
Well,
So
the
but
illegal
this is
immigrants though are not. They're
this
not seeking out those type of jobs. That's not
yeah
the.
yeah no they're not. But the thing is, like,
But
you
they are
already have a
taking the
problem.
regular American jobs.
Yeah, but that's not what Elon Musk and
Yeah, yeah,
the
I
big
get
mama
you.
Kwame is talking about. They're talking about
They
I
the
talk
get
about
you.
they talk about the migrants who are gonna be fulfilling the positions. But people are gonna always have a problem when you bringing in folks from the outside. They're not gonna care about the difference of the common American is not gonna care about the difference of why they're coming here and the circumstances. All they're gonna hear is immigrants. That's all they're gonna hear. So they're gonna be outraged by it. They're gonna be like, "Oh, these jobs should
I
be going
think
to
that
somebody
people is
else."
just I don't think that people know how to separate the difference between illegal immigrants and legal migrants into the country. Nobody is against migration into the country. What people were against was illegal migrants crossing over to the border without being vetted, and we don't know who is who, and to the tune of over 20 million people, possibly 21 million people coming over into this country and then getting free hotel rooms. That's not what people are for. People are for legal migration into the country, the best and brightest, also vetting for the people that are coming over here, and then forcing them to also understand American culture and pay taxes. That's what people want. I've never been against migration into this country, ever.
Well, sometimes, and I know this because of my family being from Cuba. Sometimes legal migration doesn't have anything to do with, like the visas or anything. So like when you look at the Haitians, right? That was the same thing that happened with the Cubans. And now, if you're not Cuban and you're down in Miami, you got to go through a Cuban. Like literally owns Miami, everything. So what I'm saying is I can understand, the hesitation, right? With 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 immigrants, period. Because when you look at places in New York, even the illegal ones, they came there and did the same thing the legal ones did. Now they have all the stores, all the bodegas, things like that. Down here in Maryland and DC, it's the Chinese and the Koreans.
Yeah, but do you understand why they open up those stores and those bodegas?
Well, I do know, here's the thing. I do know that a lot of the people that are here don't know that they have small business loans that are directly for minority groups, and they don't take advantage of them, and the immigrants come here and they take advantage of them and they open the stores in these areas.
Um, a
And so
lot of
it's a and it's funded. You can literally go and get these funds, but
a lot of
a lot
a
of the
lot
people
of
that are here don't know it.
a lot of migrants um open up these stores and these restaurants, and it's funny because I was just looking at a video
Mm.
that you mentioned that because I was going to do a reaction to it, but it's that a lot of Chinatowns are actually suffering and the businesses are closing and going under, and a lot of those people don't even have anywhere to go. And it's because the reason is a lot of those migrants create those jobs for themselves because they don't have anything else to do. They don't have any other skill set. And so what they do is they open up a store and they work it. They don't open up a business and hire other people and other stuff. They just work that store, and then hopefully they can then get and raise their children to the point to where they can send their kids to college so that their kids don't have to do the same thing that they did, because often at times the kids don't even take over the business. Once the Chinese people or whatever close, they just get older and retire. They'll either sell the location or they'll close it altogether. But a lot of times those migrants don't do it because they actually, are smart or any of this stuff. They doing it because that's the only way they can feed themselves, and they create a job for themselves. So that's
Well,
usually what you see happen.
I know down here, right? Because I actually know one of the sons. So we have these things called Yums carryouts down here in DC. DC has a lot of carryouts. Um, what's his name? Keith Lee went to one and then like the food. But
Mhm.
anyway, here down here we have a lot of carryouts. And those carryouts are only ran by Chinese people. However, Yums is generational, right? To the point where their kids have trust funds from these carryouts. They're all over the city, all over in Maryland, PG County, all this stuff. So they create generational wealth on small business loans that are actually already there. They take advantage of those. And then if you look in California, Kamala Harris, she literally put money into the AAPI community for them to rebuild after
What is the
COVID.
AAPI?
Asian American Pacific Islanders,
Oh, okay.
Asian people. She literally did that. And they do have funding for all this stuff. But they also have funding for minorities, period. But again, certain groups come over here, they they can take advantage of that. Just like you can be a minority and go to a HBCU and get funding and so on and so on and so on. It's the
Mm.
information. So I think that's what people are raging against, that they're not, and this is white, black, whatever, but they're Americans, then they're not getting those opportunities. So part of it, yes, is yourself, but I do also think it's
How can
yeah,
people get an opportunity when they're not even prepared for the opportunity?
correct, correct. I
I
don't disagree.
I said, yo, listen, y'all, I need a person to do this, A, B, and C, and I'm hiring them, and I'm hiring it at I forgot what I said, like 109, $110,000 a year starting off. And I will tell you that 98, 99% of the people that applied for the position was saying, hook me up, bro. They did not meet the requirements. They did not meet the standards. And I didn't even think that the standards was that high. Most people didn't even look at and pay attention to the criteria that I said that I was looking for. And a lot of people didn't even tailor their resume to reflect what it was that they was applying for. I got motherfuckers talking about, yeah, man, this is my experience at McDonald's. I'm like, what does that have to do with what I'm talking about? And so I'm just telling you that it's also a lot of people that just want to be hooked up, but they're not ready for the position. They don't have the education, they don't have the work experience, they don't have the dedication, they don't have the none of that, and people just be looking to get hooked up. And so, I don't know, man. I think that you get what you qualify for. And everybody that I know that is educated, everybody that I know that has the work experience, everybody that I know that went into the right field, they have no problem whatsoever running up a bag. And they have multiple different recruiters. There is a bevy of recruiters. As much as people are saying that there are layoffs, there is a bevy of recruiters that are running around trying to find the right people for the right positions, um, that are qualified, because it is hard to find people that are qualified.
Mm.
And the ones that are qualified, they got all the options in the world, all of the options in the world, and they
Right.
job
They
they
usually
job hop,
have
they job hop.
just from my experience with the tech people, they usually do have all of that. They usually will have, if they have Azure, they'll have AWS. If they have that, they have Power BI. They have all that nonsense. They've done in JavaScript, UX.
Yep. So
Yeah. But again, it's never really Americans. If I had to name every 100 people, most of them would be Asian.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, that's that. Any other takes? Any other thoughts before we get up out of here?
Uh, I do think that Vivek's analogy was spot on.
I do too. I think that we
Okay.
celebrate the Slaters and the Zacks more than we celebrate the Urkels and the
I mean, if you
and the Screeches.
if you just look at Christmas, I mean, what are we talking about? We talking about
But what do you do
the
about
NBA.
that,
We talking about the
Anton?
NBA. We talking about the NBA and the NFL. You know what I'm saying? That's all we talked about on Christmas.
But what do you do to change the culture?
What do you do to change what culture? American culture?
If American culture is that, right, what Vivek said,
You bring in more.
and
You
I'm
bring
not
in
and I'm
more
not in a
qualified people from
disagreement,
overseas.
but what but that's the thing.
You
But
bring in more
okay, so
people than some foreigners.
right, but that's the same thing the Democrats are thinking on the other level.
No, 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 no. The Democrats was just letting people in that were pouring out of prison systems and jail systems from
No, what I'm
Guatemala and
saying, what
Venezuela.
okay, so what's her name? What's that lady's name? Gosh, I don't know why it's escaping me. Jasmine Crockett, right?
Uh-huh.
They have they have an understanding that those immigrants, yes, a lot of them are whatever, whatever. But in the mix of those people also are people that are willing to do certain jobs, right? That you would still have to pay that you would still have to pay a certain wage as an American for. So they have an understanding, even the
The
bottom
problem
class.
isn't the wages, Mika. The problem is getting people that even want to work at all. The problem ain't never been the wages. The problem is getting people that actually want to work. It is hard to get motherfuckers that actually want to work. To get
Right, but
good
that's why
people,
I asked, how do you change the culture? Because
you got
the
to
culture
recycle. You
is
bring in people that actually want to work legally, and you vet them effectively. Most millionaires, most people that get rich, it is not based off of generational wealth. That is the biggest myth that I've ever heard in my entire life.
yeah,
Most people that become
first
millionaires are
generations,
first generation. They
immigrants.
are people that are
Yes.
building, starting companies, generating
Mhm.
wealth, hiring people, starting
Yes.
small businesses, and whatever. And a lot of that come from people that are not a part of the American culture. It's just the facts.
Right. Right. I mean, yeah, we had that conversation. I told you my great grandfather came over here from Poland, and the way he was able to stay here, he joined the military, and he created wealth out of being in the military.
Mhm.
But
That's because they
it
don't. That's because the school system is not. It's not geared to teach you like finances. It's not geared to teach you any of
but
that
that's what I said earlier, Slimmy.
because
That's
it's
what I was
only
saying.
geared. It's only geared to have you. It's geared to have you work for the government and do what the government needs you to do on
Right.
a,
So how do
on
you
a,
that's
on
why
a low
that's
on a
I
low
agree.
class
How do you
working level.
change that?
No, there
That's
is
what I
no
was
changing
asking
that.
you
It's
and
not
you
meant
and
to
AD, like,
change.
how do you change those policies that don't allow for children
I
from
don't think it
K to
got nothing to
12 to
do with
actually be set up?
policy. I don't
There,
think
there
it
is
got
no
nothing to do with
changing. There
policy.
is no changing. The thing is, you have to go and get this shit yourself. You got to go and get that shit yourself because you can't
Then what
expect
is the point of having a school system? What are you
the
teaching
school. I
them?
just told you what the point of having the
What
school
no, I'm saying,
system.
what am I paying my tax dollars for? Because if that's the case, then you could I mean, I think this is better anyway, but you can just homeschool them.
Well, that's an option. That's why you have that option. You don't. They don't. Nobody has to go
But
to
you can't
school.
opt out but you can't opt out of property taxes, and my property taxes are going for the stuff in the
Nah,
county and schools.
hey,
So,
that's a different discussion. But nobody
but that's
has
what I
to.
mean, the policies.
Parents have that option to not send their kids to the school and teach them their way. You have that option. Most people do not utilize that because they either one don't have the time or they don't have the capability. They don't want to be teachers. So, in order to, like, for instance, if you get 4 or 5 people that have their own business, they ain't got time to teach kids about finances and show them how they made it
No,
through,
that used to be
their
no,
way.
that used to be a part of schooling, just like home ec used to be in school, just like civics used to be in school. It used to be a part of your curriculum, workshop, all of that. Like you would literally
I've never
learn.
remember finances being a part of no curriculum.
Mhm. Yeah, it used to be. Yeah,
When?
used to have finance class. That's why I'm a accounting major. That's where I learned it.
In high school?
No, I learned that in middle school.
No, I don't remember no finance classes in
Yeah,
school.
yeah. But
Hell
well,
no.
we don't. We of course we're not from the same state, but
Yeah.
my
And
point
that's
being
another thing
is,
that I was gonna say, Mika. That's why you can never have like a general curriculum across the board because all states are different.
then what in the world is the Department of Education?
Shit, it's different. Ain't it different in every
but
eventually in
that's
every
my
state?
point. That's
Those
why
are
you should get
peers.
rid of it.